What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and a while back I did a little test with Thor comparing a Judgment to a Rage when I had 2% Pierce. Now recently I've been able to get up to a 11% Pierce, and word is if you get past 10%, the CTP of Judgment will outshine the Rage. Now initially when I tested this, when I had 2% Pierce, the Rage was actually stronger. In fact, it would actually do clears 30 seconds faster than what a Judgment would do. However, things might have changed, my friends. So we'll do a little comparing as far as the builds, and then I'll show you guys the comparison runs. Now, right now, my Thor has 43,700 energy attack, and that is with a CTP of Judgment, and we are getting that 28% all attack. When there was a CTP of Rage equipped on Thor, this was 39,115 energy attack. So you're looking at almost a 4,000 energy attack buff. As far as all of these stats, whenever I had the Rage, all of these things were completely maxed out. I'll put up a screenshot of it. But you can see the crit rate isn't maxed out. However, the crit rate will get maxed out from the Force skill. And since you hold this skill, it's pretty much going to have, this crit rate is going to be up all the time. Now, the thing about Thor is the longer you hold the Force skill, the higher attack buff you get. It starts off at 20%, then goes into 40%, then goes into 60%. So if you have that 60% before you do your tier 3 or before you do your skills, you're going to do a lot of damage. However, when you're playing with Thor, whenever your proc engages, whether it's the CTP of Judgment or the Rage, especially like whenever the tier 3 is activated, you really want to hit that tier 3 as soon as the proc is activated. You'll find that you'll do more damage over time if you're doing it that way. You know, he does have a fully awakened power of Angry Hawk set, and again, I do have the CTP of Judgment. Now, this CTP of Judgment has 15% chain hit damage, and this is a big reason why people think the Judgment would be stronger. Now, I get conflicting thoughts about the mighty CTP of Judgment, but this video is just comparing a regular CTP of Judgment versus a regular CTP of Rage. Now, what I did for the runs you guys are about to see is I ran multiple runs with the Rage and multiple runs with the CTP of Judgment, and I took the fastest runs that I had available from both of them, and that's what we're going to compare. So let's jump into the action and let's rock and roll. So I decided to go ahead and just split the screen up. You're going to have the Judgment run on the left and the Rage run on the right. And I tried playing these runs as much as possible. So what we're doing is, this is stage 8. We are using Beta Ray's leadership and Valkyrie for that ignore dodge. And then we have 3 ignore dodge strikers. And that's going to give us a total of 90% ignore dodge, so Null isn't going to be dodging our attacks. And what we're going to do is we're going to do this run. We're going to go all the way to the end to see how long it takes for the Judgment and the Rage to do this clear using 11% Pierce. And then we'll do another run against stage 10 with a little bit less ignore dodge, because we can only use 1 ignore dodge striker, and see the difference between the Judgment and the Rage just in the first phase against Null. And I ran these runs again multiple times. I did multiple Rage runs, multiple Judgment runs, and I just took the fastest time from both of them, and that's what you guys are watching right now. And I try to play them exactly the same. You know, I play Thor exactly the same, whether I was using the Rage or whether I was using the Judgment. And let me know in the comments if you guys prefer, whenever we do these comparisons, if you like the split screen view where you see both of them at the same time. And you can see right now, guys, the Judgment is pulling ahead of the CTP of Rage. Not by a massive margin, but it is beating it. It is doing better. And I played as aggressively as I could. I do have anti-venom in both of these runs. I have the exact same strikers for all of these runs, except for the when we go to stage 10. I mean, I'm just trying to pour it on as much as I can. You can see right now we're down to the 9th bar. We were down to the 12th bar on the Rage and the 9th bar on the Judgment. So the Judgment is pulling ahead. It is doing more damage. And if we had more chain hit damage on that Judgment, it would be even better, because as we all know, that chain hit does synergize with the Pierce. It's actually pretty damn cool how well the Judgment doing. And this is a stark difference from when I had 2% Pierce. I mean, when I had 2% Pierce, the Rage was dominating the Judgment. I mean, he was doing this 30 seconds faster or even faster than that throughout an entire run. And boom, Judgment already finished. The Rage was 4 or 5 bars behind. Look at that. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. So the Judgment actually did it 6 seconds faster than the Rage, which is pretty freaking amazing. So let's see what happens when we go to stage 10. So again, the Judgment is on the left and the Rage is on the right. And I'm just running Cyclops in there. Now, I wanted to do 2 different runs because I wanted to show you guys at a higher level, you know, if there's any kind of difference. And, you know, with Cyclops, I do have a CTP of Insight. So, I mean, if the proc triggers on that CTP of Insight, like whenever we're not doing our proc, our actual proc, it would affect how much damage we're going to do. But you're going to see they're actually pretty damn close between the Judgment and the Rage. All right. And right now, they are pretty neck and neck. The Judgment is about a bar ahead of the Rage, which is pretty crazy. I am running Gambit's Leadership for that 50% ignore dodge, and then I am using Venom there, or Age of Venom for the 20% ignore dodge. So we only have 70% ignore dodge. A caveat to Thor is he doesn't have any ignore dodge in his kit, which kind of sucks. I really wish he did. It'd make him a whole lot better, because then you could use a lot of different strikers that you wouldn't have to, you know, use for ignore dodge. You could use to actually buff damage to supervillains. But it is what it is. He's still freaking strong as hell. And we're almost down to the end. We just want to do this first phase. And Judgment finished at 344 or 345. And the Rage finished just a little bit behind that, which is crazy. They're very, very close. I mean, there's not a massive difference between them. You know, the Judgment did about 5 bars more than the Rage. You know, with 11% Pierce, it's doing clears about 5-6 seconds faster than what he would with the Rage. So it is better, but it's not by a massive margin. So in conclusion, for Thor, the Judgment is better for him once you get above that 10% mark. But it's not better by a massive margin. I mean, I imagine if you have a mighty CTP, then it would be a different story. But if you're talking about a regular CTP of Judgment versus a regular CTP of Rage, having max stats on both of them, it's not an insane difference. I really thought it was actually going to be more of a difference than what it was. I thought the Judgment was going to outperform the Rage by a much larger margin, but it didn't. It still does better. So I'd still recommend putting a CTP of Judgment on your elemental characters once you get to 10% Pierce or more. However, I think it's going to be different for different characters. It's going to depend on whether or not they got chain hit damage in their kits. But shockingly, no pun intended, the Judgment was better, but not by a whole lot. But I imagine once you start increasing your Pierce even more, I think the more Pierce you're going to have, the more it's going to affect that Judgment and really synergize more with that chain hit damage. So I imagine when we get more Pierce, this is going to get a lot better. I mean, you definitely can tell that the chain hit damage is synergizing with the Pierce. Because again, you know, when I had 2% Pierce, the Rage was destroying the Judgment. And now the Judgment is actually doing better. So that's concrete evidence that chain hit damage does synergize with Pierce, which is actually really good to know, especially for our future elemental characters that we can use our Judgments on. So a little surprised that we didn't do more than what we did with the Judgment, but it still is better. So let me know how you're all feeling about this comparison, and if you would like to see these kinds of comparisons in the future, and who you would like to see get compared. And I stream on Twitch at Reset from Sunday through Thursday. The link will be in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one.